Hey everybody, it's Mike from the Mike Wagner Show, powered by SoundWeb Studios. Visit online at sonicwebstudios.com for all your needs. Looking at a professional website without breaking your budget, SonicWeb Studios is the answer. SonicWeb Studios offers fast, affordable custom web designs that blow the competition away. Call today, 1-800-303-3960. That's 1-800-303-3960, or email to support@sonicwebstudios.com. Mention the Mike Wagner Show, get 20% off your first project. SonicWeb Studios, take your image to the next level. Also, time to give official shout out to our official sponsor of the Mike Wagner Show, international warring author Mia Molson-Zia. If you love fast-paced mysteries, you'll love Missing by Mia Molson-Zia, available on Amazon paperback and ebook. Missing is fast-paced and intriguing with an unforgettable twist. It takes place in 4 countries, 2 strangers, 1 target, where truth is an illusion and those you love will be the first to go missing. It's available on Amazon in paperback and ebook. Missing by Mia Molson-Zia has garnered great reviews in Eve 11 endorsed by Hollywood celebrities, including Joanna Cassidy, Forrest Riley, and many others. So grab your copy today for Girls Missing by Mia Molson-Zia, available on Amazon. Also, check out the Mike Wagner Show at themikewagnershow.com on over 30 podcast platforms, including Facebook, SoundCloud, Spreaker, Spotify, and iHeartRadio. Also, Anchor FM, iTunes, Google Play, Amazon, Audible, Apple Music, and more. Take the Mike Wagner Show with you on any mobile device. Subscribe to the Mike Wagner Show on the YouTube channel. Follow the Mike Wagner Show on Instagram and Twitter today. And for great gift ideas, go to Amazon.com and check out the Mike Wagner Show podcast. T-shirts, pop sockets, throw pillows, tote bags, makes great gifts for family, friends, and loved ones 24/7. And don't forget to check out the Mia Molson-Zia store on Amazon for great books like Missing, Once and Wrinkles. Also cool merchandise like T-shirts, pop sockets, hoodies, phone cases, and more. Amazon.com/Mia Molson-Zia. Make sure you check it out today. Also support the Mike Wagner Show on Anchor FM, as well as PayPal and the MikeWagnerShow.com, and make sure you do so today. We're here with 3 terrific gentlemen, and one will be joining later on as well too, and of course we'll be going with the 3 as well too. And these guys are based out of Oregon, and they're brothers-turned-bandmates. We'll talk about that. They amassed over 15 million streams on Spotify, which led them to premieres from Billboard and Once to Watch. And they were named one of KCRW's artists to know, and featured on Amazon's The Next New Artist Program. And the music has been featured on God Friended Me, Queen Sugar, and also Pretty Little Liars, and more. And we'll be talking about their latest release called Anger and Grace, also off the album Love Is, and also had some previous music as well too, and we'll talk about that. And live, ladies and gentlemen, from their plush studios somewhere in Portland, Oregon, we have the Wurgler brothers. We got Jordan, we got David, we got Eric, and I guess Scott is somewhere, and Jordan Roach is going to be with us as well too. I guess we'll call him a brother. Ladies and gentlemen, the very multi-talented quartet, My Brothers and I. Guys, good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Thanks for joining us today.
Morning.
For having us.
Good afternoon, I guess. Yeah.
Eric, thanks for joining us today. You can speak, Eric. It's okay.
That was the best intro ever. That was great. I was just admiring everything that you like. You're juggling so many things and you're hitting all the points. It was great. That's awesome.
Oh, thank you. I appreciate it.
We might need to hire you in the future for other things that we're doing.
Hey, you know where to reach me, okay? I mean, this is my information right here.
I love that.
If you have to order these right here, it's got my information. You know, like you say, sleep on it. Or like, say you got some loved ones, you know, take them shopping with you and just tell them about it. I mean, all kinds of great stuff. So, oh my gosh. Yeah, it's great. It's what brothers are about too. And of course, speaking of brothers, you guys are based out of Oregon, brothers-turned-bandmates. And of course, you got Eric and David. And of course, you know, Jordan, you're also an adopted brother as well too. And like we said, Scott's going to be joining us later on as well. You guys also formed in a big way. You amassed over 15 million streams on Spotify, and you also named one of KCRW's artists to know. You got some music featured on some movie soundtracks and more. You also got a new song, Anger and Grace, also an album release. We'll talk about those. And before we get into the new song and some of your works, guys, tell us how you all first got started.
Jordan, you take it first.
Pick one.
Well,
or do I have to choose? Eeny, meeny, miny, moe. One of you go.
You need to say, Mike, you need to tell us how we started. So Scott, the drummer, and I are the same age, and we picked up instruments at about the same time. I want to say maybe 6th grade. So that was a long time ago. And then we started playing in bands. And then as the Scott's brothers got older, and we noticed they were better musicians and singers than us. We were like, hey, you should be in the band. And long story short, that's kind of how it happened. Yeah, David, Eric, any input?
That's pretty spot on. Yeah. I mean, I like, for me growing up, especially, I'm the youngest. So I was, like Jordan said, basically they were all in bands growing up, and I was just in high school doing choir and doing stuff like that, and singing. And I just always was looking up to them, going to their shows all the time, their local shows. And then eventually I think it might've been my senior year, right after my senior year in high school. Scott always tells this part of the story, but we had like a jazz choir in high school, and we had a solo night at the end of every year. So at my senior year solo night, Scott came to the show, and obviously he's my brother, but he hadn't really heard me sing a solo like that before. And so he heard me sing that solo night, and then just was like, wow, this is it. Like, we need to do a band with all the bros, and I'd be the lead singer. So it was fun.
Huh. Interesting. And Eric, go ahead. You can throw your input in.
Yeah. I mean, my reason for wanting to be in a band with them is they told me I couldn't. And that really irritates me.
We did?
Yeah.
I don't think I remember that.
Yeah, you did. Because they were going into bars and stuff. And I was maybe 15 at the time when I, was interested in being in a band with them. And they're like, technically you can't do that in Oregon. So it's not really a thing. So that really got my goat. And I just tried to really practice and get better, to the point where they were like, well, let's ask the next concert if they'll allow you to come in. And then we were allowed to get some sort of system in place where they could mark your hands and make sure that nobody serves you a drink. And you have to wait outside in the car until it's your time to play. And then they bring you in 2 minutes before you start, like all that stuff that you deal with. But that was a long time ago. But ever since then, we've been playing. That wasn't my brothers and I back then. But as soon as David got involved, we got way more into songwriting as a group, collaborating as a group, reaching out to producers and mixing artists. Like, we kind of learned the business, at least I did, once we all kind of joined forces. But since then it's been great. So no major drama, I guess. Everybody talks about family drama. There's obviously family drama in family, but with the band, we just don't have that.
And I think that's really good too. And of course, the early exchange, I thought you're typical brothers fighting as well too, although some of us didn't grow up as brothers, but growing up as friends, having brothers as well too. So let's talk about how you guys got started musically. So Jordan, let's go ahead and talk about how you got started musically.
I think probably from my dad. Used to have a guitar lying around, and they had old records, my folks did. And so I'd pick up those records. I think I probably remember my dad playing, like Led Zeppelin on the guitar. And I was like, wow, that's fun. I like that. I want to do that. And then also I had an older brother who was into music, and how at school you pick up from your friends and stuff. And so he was listening to music. And so the earlier music, the music that I got onto first was like grunge and like, Foo Fighters, Nirvana, Soundgarden. And then in high school, as Eric said, or David did, we were in jazz choir, and that was a big spark where I just became studying jazz guitar. So like jazz and grunge were kind of the two main things: jazz, grunge, and the Beatles. So
jazz grunge, I like that. That's really good.
And not jazz grunge, but I guess jazz grunge.
I was kind of joking in a sense, so.
But that could be a new genre, I guess. Maybe we'll start that.
Yeah, there you go. And who are some of your favorite jazz artists, since you were talking about that?
Yeah, I love, of course, 'Tis the Season, Vince Guaraldi. He's amazing. I like Wes Montgomery as far as guitarist, or Herbie Hancock, Herb Ellis. I'm trying to think of some other ones. Freddie Green, I think that's his name, but he's like one of my favorites. But he's just like a chunk, just on every quarter note, and just super simple stuff. Well, not simple, but the chordings is really fun. So actually I got into chords, and I think that's where I help out, or I like to fit in with this band, because all these guys are amazing. So it's kind of fun for me to do more interesting chords. And and kind of still sit back in the background, but it's kind of fun to, like, instead of just doing a regular A, do a different inversion or some sort of fun thing that makes it interesting.
Rather interesting. And who are some of our other favorite artists, singers, and songwriters and musicians growing up? Who are some of your other favorites?
Is this still for me? I don't
Yes.
know. Let's just go to grunge. I guess I loved, we put on the spot, you're like, oh my gosh, who do I like? Well, I loved Chris Cornell, his voice. I mean, Chris Cornell and Pearl Jam, so Eddie Vedder. Trying to think who else. I mean, I loved classic rock, CCR, John Fogerty, the Beatles, like I said. I'm trying to just go through my catalog. This is hard.
That's okay. I'm sure we'll pop up later as well too. And then Eric, you're down here as well too. And tell us how you first got started musically.
Yeah, so I went to I think it was like a Take Your Child to Work Day thing with my mom. And the guy was playing violin at the elementary school that she taught at.
Huh.
And I was really young, and I was like, man, I think he was doing a fiddle song. He was doing some sort of fiddle arrangement. So I begged around first grade to get a violin. My parents wrote it off as he's not really interested in it. So then around second grade, after a year of begging, they're like, oh, he means it. So my background's a little bit more of a traditional, you pick up an instrument at school, you learn how to read, you play Twinkle Twinkle Little Star for 2 years, and then you graduate, that type of a thing. So that got me into, especially around high school, anything that's Russian, I'm in love with from a classical perspective. And then Handel, obviously, just those types of things were where my start kind of got ignited, at least from like a music theory perspective. And then, like David was saying, we would go to the 12 singers doing jazz, each having their own microphone, and then you have a combo off to the side. And Scott and Jordan were in that combo, and we would go and see them growing up. And that's when I got interested in jazz. So then I got, I have a weird obsession with female singers. So for me, it was Ella Fitzgerald and, oh gosh, I just had her Christmas song playing. I'm going to look it up, even though it's a little annoying.
Yeah, that's okay.
Anyways, just like really low voicing women that just have a really raspy attitude, and they sound like they have been through things. Like, that was interesting to me. And if you know anything about Ella Fitzgerald's story, I think, there's a few videos out now, movies out now. She's just a really interesting, amazing person. The other thing too is, by the time David and I graduated, all of us had the same exact jazz choir teacher.
Oh my gosh.
She had taught all of us just within, 4 or 5 years apart from each other. So she kind of was, and maybe in a sense, the glue to our thinking of how music should be done, or how you should
8 years apart.
chords. 8 years apart.
In my case.
Yeah. So David's 8 years younger than Scott and Jordan. I'm 4 years younger than Scott and Jordan. So
that's really interesting. And who are some of our other favorite artists, singers, and songwriters and musicians growing up?
Right now I'm obsessed with Tom Misch. I listen to him every day. He's British, really amazing guitar, songwriter, producer. I'm all over the board. I'm really into Kanye right now. I am really into, I listen to our music. I know that sounds weird, but and it's not a plug, but there's actually songs that we've released that are, especially a lot of our ballads, they're good. And I like slow songs. I like anything that sounds sad. So if anybody has a sad song suggestion from your listenership, tell them to shoot me a link. So
we certainly will do so, although I can't think of any right now at this point. But Dave, let's go to you here. So, and you got your special guest, which may pop in from time to time, and
yes.
Tell us how you got started musically.
Yeah, I actually grew up wanting to play the drums because I was the youngest and Scott was the oldest, and he was playing drums. He's the drummer. So I just saw him and was like, I want to do that. So I started by just teaching myself to play the drums through watching Scott. Never had lessons or anything like that. And then eventually I just decided, or I think I just started singing a lot, just enjoyed singing, but I never really thought about being an actual singer, never did choir. until middle school when Eric had a good experience at our middle school with the choir teacher there. So I was like, you know what, I'll give it a try. And then I kind of fell in love with singing. And I guess pre-choir, we had the Michael Jackson best of DVD that was just all of his best music videos. And so I pretty much just listened, like we had our crappy tiny DVD player in our, like the ceiling of our minivan growing up. And so every car ride, no matter how long or short it was, I was watching the Michael Jackson music videos. So then I eventually decided to do choir, and then just started going through choir, went through that same jazz choir like the guys were saying, and really fell in love with jazz, and found out I had a gift for vocal improv, scatting, which is something that, especially growing up, was rare. Like not many kids were scatting, or if they did, it ended up sounding like shooby dooby dooby. And so I think my teacher kind of saw that in me and really started to encourage me to pursue scatting and learn about it. And so that was something I did a lot. Not to toot my own jazz horn, but I got National Jazz Vocalist of the Year, or soloist, jazz soloist of the year at the Lionel Hampton Jazz Festival. So that was fun. So I think I really fell in love with jazz at that point. And then that was when Scott saw me singing, and then we were like, let's do a band. So that's from like my musical singing background.
And congratulations winning on your award, by the way.
Yeah, thank you. I still have the plaque in my childhood room. So.
Oh, that's so amazing. You have to show it to us sometime. And we're some of your other favorite artists, singers, and songwriters and growing up, and especially jazz.
Yes. So Michael Jackson, like I said, I remember one of the biggest albums that also had an impact on me was Songs About Jane by Maroon 5. That was one that really got me. Like, that was the first album I have vivid memories, like singing along to. And really starting to feel like I want to be a singer. So definitely Maroon 5, more so early Maroon 5. I love John Mayer. I love Ed Sheeran. I definitely, like, if you looked at my music listening right now, it is comparative to like a high school girl, probably. Like, I just love Ed Sheeran, John Mayer, Shawn Mendes, Justin Bieber. Like, I'm a sucker for just like modern day pop. But ironically, because I did look up to these guys, like Jordan said, I listened, and the first album I ever got as a birthday gift was Nirvana. And like, I just loved grunge growing up too, and Pearl Jam and Audio Slave and Soundgarden, and like all these Rage Against the Machine. Just like, I listened to all this stuff. And then now I find myself listening to like the most pop of pop music. So it's kind of ironic. And then jazz, because doing the solo stuff, we always had to like pick a jazz song to do. And I always was looking through Ray Charles stuff, anything he did. I think the first one I did was Georgia by Ray Charles. That was my first solo. Man.
I remember we grew up listening to, Grandma got us a Bobby McFerrin live DVD.
Yeah.
Oh, yes.
I had never heard of him in my life. And for some reason, it was him live with a microphone, just like pounding his chest and singing. That was, to me, like a door for improv from like a vocal perspective.
Wow.
So I remember growing up watching that, just being kind of amazed.
Yep.
Yeah, I do love Bobby McFerrin. That's actually a huge inspiration because he's very just free. He's weird.
And I remember listening to him too before the Don't Worry, Be Happy. It's like, listen to I Feel Good. He did a great James Brown version of it. It's just like, wow, that was something as well too. So
yeah.
Oh my gosh. Yeah. I mean, there's a lot of great stuff. We'll talk about your accolades, and also having 15 million streams on Spotify and some of your previous music. We'll talk about that. But first, listen to the Mike Wagner Show at the MikeWagnerShow.com, powered by Sonic Web Studios. Visit online at SonicWebStudios.com for all your needs. Look at a professional website without breaking your budget. Sonic Web Studios is the answer. Sonic Web Studios offers fast, affordable custom web designs that blow the competition away. Call today, 1-800-303-3960. It's 1-800-303-3960, or email to support@SonicWebStudios.com. Mention the Mike Wagner Show, get 20% off your first project. Sonic Web Studios, take your image to the next level. Also, time to give official shout out to our official sponsor of the Mike Wagner Show, international warring author Mia Molson Zia. If you love fast-paced mysteries, you'll love Missing by Mia Molson Zia, available on Amazon paperback and ebook. Missing is fast-paced and intriguing with an unforgettable twist. Takes place in 4 countries, 2 strangers, 1 target, where truth is illusion and those you love will be the first to go missing. It's available on Amazon and paperback and ebook. Missing by Mia Molson Zia has garnered great reviews and even loved and enjoyed by Hollywood celebrities, including Joanna Cassidy, Forrest Riley, and many others. So grab your copy today before it goes missing by Mia Molson Zia, available on Amazon. Also, check out the Mike Widener Show at themikewidenershow.com, over 30 podcast platforms. Take us with you on any mobile device. Subscribe to the Mike Widener Show on the YouTube channel. Follow us on Instagram and Twitter today. And for great gift ideas, go to Amazon.com and check out the Mike Widener Show podcast. And for more great gift ideas, go to Amazon.com/Mia and Molson Zia for great books and also great merchandise. Amazon.com/Mia and Molson Zia. Also support us on Anchor FM as well as PayPal and the MikeWidenerShow.com. Make sure you do so today. We're here with 3 amazing brothers, and one of them is scheduled to join us later as well too. We have Eric, we have David Wergler, and we got Jordan Roach, called My Brothers and I, here on the Mike Widener Show. And before we talk about your latest single, Anger and Grace, and plus the album Love Is, you guys were named KCRW's Artist to Know and feature on Amazon's the next new artist program, and also mass 15 million streams. And tell us about those accomplishments, especially being premiered on Billboard and the ones to watch.
Yeah, I mean, those I think sometimes with that stuff, it's such a weird feeling to have, like when you're grinding through music, especially the earlier stages, and like you'll have these kind of dry seasons, and then you'll have the seasons where things are happening. And I think it's always really surreal when something like that happens. Like when you hear, oh my gosh, like Billboard's going to run a story on you guys, and being able to like physically go to the Billboard, go to the internet on your phone and look it up and actually be able to scroll and see your faces on like the Billboard website. It's a very weird, surreal feeling, and exciting, obviously. Like we're just extremely grateful for that stuff. And we're hoping to just keep the train moving. That's for sure.
Mm-hmm. And Eric and Jordan, your input on that?
Yeah, I mean, I'm happy that you say those things out loud, because I think what a lot of artists run into is we forget where we've come from and where we're at. And we always just look to improve ourselves. And I think that can get depressing at times, if I'm completely honest. And you're just like, sweet, so how do we get 1 million more listeners? How do we get another award? Or how do we get on more Spotify playlists? Like, it sounds conceited to say it out loud, but that's ultimately the goal of artists, is to become more popular and just keep growing and improving your fan base, but then also entertaining as many people as you can, because we believe in these songs like with all our heart. And I don't say that to be like overly poetic, but it's true. We put a lot of time and energy, and we wouldn't put these out if we didn't think they were good. So to get those accolades, thanks for listing them, because I kind of forget. And so just thank you for saying that out loud. It's a good reminder for me, I think.
Mm-hmm. And Jordan, your thoughts on that, or give us your input?
I think what Eric said is good. Yeah, I think it's, sometimes we get caught up just trying to do the next thing and forget that we have a lot of, we've had a lot of success, even though we want more. But it's good to remember what we've accomplished. Yeah.
Sounds like a song idea. Is somebody writing this down? Or
I'm sure one of you guys are writing down. Maybe Scott is writing down. I'm sure he's trying to still clock in at the same time as well too. And you also had some great music out there. You had Don't Dream Alone, also Heartbeat, and also talk about your album Love Is, and tell us all about your music and the album.
With Love Is, we've kind of had this progression, I think, in our music from album 1. It was definitely like, that's our first recording, at least for me, especially. These guys had recorded some albums with previous groups, but first time in a studio, first time recording live vocal, or, studio vocals like that. And I think to see where we were with that first album, and then try to figure out how to grow without losing who we are, because that's something that we've always taken pride in, is the organic element. Like, we take pride in being able to perform live well. And so you don't want to lose that in a studio, because you can, it's easy to lose that if you just go all digital route. If you get rid of all live drums, if you get rid of all really live takes of anything, except for vocals, you can lose that kind of living, breathing element in a song. And so I think with Love Is, we felt like we found a good balance of like the digital electronic aspects that kind of clean the song up and make it nice and crisp, but also capturing that live performance element of it as well, where we still have some live drums, we still have some really epic like live electric guitars as well as acoustic guitars. So I think that's definitely what I would say. It's just whoa there. Feels like it's good.
I think he agrees with you.
Yeah, he's like, yes. But yeah, I think we just captured that, and we feel good about kind of the hybridization of those two elements into one with Love Is.
Okay. All right. And Jordan, Eric, you can also chime in as well too. Your thoughts? Feel free to jump in anytime, guys, too. So
Eric, you got the mic.
Yeah, we just like giving each other a chance to talk. It ends up with us fighting over it.
Fighting? What fight? You guys get along great. Come on now.
It's silent fighting. No, it's great. What David just said, I think that, this was one of the times we decided to track some of the songs with Jordan, Scott, and I all in the same room. Like obviously my bass amp and Jordan's amp were in different rooms, but it was interesting to go through that process of being there in the room with Scott as he's recording his drums, and we're all looking at each other as David's laying down a scratch track in the main booth. It was an interesting experience for me. It helped me get away from that the bedroom producing recording aspect, which can be fun, but just sometimes really isolating. So I think a lot of that energy, like David just talked about, I think we were able to get that from a lot of the songs were recorded and started with all of us in the room together.
Interesting. And Jordan, your take on that?
Oh, man, I think they both said it really well. I think this latest album, Love Is, and the single Anger and Grace is, we love all of our songs, but I think we keep honing in on what we really sound like. And so I think we're really happy with these latest releases.
Yeah,
Okay.
We're still figuring it out, which is weird, but it's totally true.
That's what's hard with some of that stuff too, is it's so easy. Like we love so many different types of music that it's easy to hear the Justin Bieber song that I like so much and hear, like, when you hear a Justin Bieber song, like, it's a Justin Bieber song right away. Like it is very tight, very crisp. Like there is not a lot going on. It's very simple. There's maybe like 5 instruments throughout the whole song, and they still turn it into a hit. And I think trying to realize like those songs resonate with us so well, but then then being inspired by something like that, but also, like I said, not trying to just recreate it or copy it, because that's not who we are. Like we're still a band. We're 4 live instruments. We like to play live, and like finding ways to create songs that we are inspired by, like songs like that, without getting rid of Jordan or getting rid of Eric or getting rid of Scott's live drum set. Like I think finding that balance can be really tough. But yeah, like Jordan said, I think with Love Is, and especially Anger and Grace, we definitely are really happy with how Anger and Grace turned out. It's an amazing message of a song lyrically. And then I think just all of that combined with the powerful choruses that are there, it definitely feels like it hits really good.
Okay, we'll talk about Anger and Grace in just a minute. And there's one thing I forgot to mention, that some of your songs have also landed some top TV programs like God Friended Me, Queen Sugar, Pretty Little Liars. And you also, towards the likes of, so with others like St. Lucia, Mr. Wives, Alan Stone, Family of the Year. And tell us about those and the TV programs, especially how the music got in there.
Yeah, I did not know that side of the music industry existed when I started being like, oh, I want to be in a band. So I found out about it because I'm an idiot, once somebody offered, and they're like, hey guys, your first album was good. They want to use this one ballad in this show. We're like, cool, can they do that? Like that was my response. Are they allowed to do that? I don't know. They're like, yeah, they'll just pay us some money and some residuals after that, blah, 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 a bunch of business stuff. But that ended up being a really good source of revenue, especially as a band starting out. That was our first album. that was really cool for us. And we get to share with our friends and family, hey, we don't waste our time when we're writing music. We're getting paid to be on, these TV shows. So it was kind of cool. And again, it was, shows I've never watched, but it was fun to watch them. And some shows in Canada also that picked it up. And
Wow.
I don't know, it's interesting. And then I think there's some other things I can't talk about. There's a major TV show that wants to use one of our songs in one of their upcoming seasons. That's, that's still from that first album. And that's what's so interesting about this type of business. And I don't know if any of your listeners are interested in this type of thing, but
yeah, I think
the album
are.
lives. The album lives forever. Like anybody can use songs from our first album still in a current season. And what's fun about that is there's a lot of people in this world that haven't listened to our first album yet, and it's a good reminder for us to still make those songs available. So.
That's really interesting. In fact, a lot of these are on Netflix and also on Hulu and all the streaming platforms. That's the beautiful thing about it. And I'm sure, Dave, Jordan, you guys agree as well, too. And it makes you want to, like, say, follow the show more. More shows, I should say.
Yeah, I can tell everyone that when our song was on Pretty Little Liars, that was totally the first time I've ever watched Pretty Little Liars.
Really?
Yep.
Oh my gosh. And then Jordan, how about you?
It's fun to have the songs on shows. It seems crazy when, out of millions and millions of songs, and the music license person narrows it down, and then to write a song that connects with a show, it just seems like winning the lottery to really get those. So all the placements have been really cool, and we've seen a ton of fans from that.
Wow.
It's fun to see fans connect to the music through a show that they love, and then they find out about us through that. So sync licensing is we really liked. It's been a big part.
That's really interesting. And were you gonna say something else, guys?
Just to piggyback on that, some of the coolest experiences I think we've seen with fan interaction is when a song has been on a show, we'll have these influxes on specifically YouTube because of the commenting feature. A lot of times people will run to YouTube, find the song, and then comment, "God friended me, brought me here," or "Pretty Little Liars brought me here." And then you see like this random influx of like 100 comments, 3 years after the song released.
Wow.
Because it finally was on a TV show. So it's fun stuff like that has happened, and it's been, those are just fun experiences to see.
Mm-hmm. And it does sound like fun. We'll talk about your latest release, Anger and Grace, in just 1 minute. You listen to the Mike Wagner Show at the MikeWagnerShow.com, powered by SonicWeb Studios. Visit online at SonicWebStudios.com for all your needs. Also brought to you by our official sponsor, the Mike Wagner Show, international warring author Mia Molson's Dia Missing, available on Amazon and paperback and ebook. We'll be back with My Brothers and I with Anger and Grace after this time out. We're back with the amazing quartet of My Brothers and I, featuring the Wurgler brothers, David, Eric, and Scott, who's yet to join us. Also, Jordan Roach on the Mike Wagner Show. And let's talk about your latest song, Anger and Grace, that's out right now. And tell us more about the song, Anger and Grace, and what inspired you guys to write it.
I think first we should clarify that Scott's no longer in the band anymore after not showing up. So if anybody
so you just fired him?
We just fired him live on your show. And if anybody's a drummer, they can reach out to us on social media.
Also disowned him as a brother.
Yes. The paperwork's going through the Oregon Department of Family, whatever it's called right now. Go ahead, David.
Yes. But Anger and Grace. We need some more grace right now, that's for sure. But anyways, Anger and Grace, I think, it's in terms of this song, with songwriting in general, there's kind of two ways it happens, at least for me as a writer, which all of us are writers, by the way, for anyone listening, we definitely all collaborate on everything. But for me, it's either I'll have a melody that I'm like, ooh, this is a good melody, or I'll have like a theme. And I'm like, this lyrical theme needs something. Like I need to do this. So this lyrical theme definitely came first with Anger and Grace, of just like, there's everything. I think it resonates right now with everything going on. There's a lot of division, especially in America. Just so much anger for a lot of different reasons, and whether it's political or not. And I think we this song just feels like it speaks to a time that we're in right now. Like it's easy to get angry. It's easy to think that kind of everything's just stoking fires and putting wedges between us all. But man, how big of an impact could we have even just in our daily life? I think that's the thing too, is we have so much access to information now that I think it's kind of not a good thing at all the times, because then we see all the bad things going on in the world, and then you just feel like everything's piling on top of you and you can't do anything about it. Whereas if you could just focus on like your daily interactions with the people around you, with your family and friends, with your coworkers, whoever that is, and just have grace with the people around you, like that could have such a big impact and bigger than you realize. So I think that's kind of where the song came from lyrically. It was like this, like, I want this message out there. Like, yeah, we could just keep getting pissed at each other. Or what if we had grace, even just that first time? Like, what would that feel like to extend that to someone and then have them extend it back? And like how big of an impact that could have on people's hearts. And then from there, it was just about, what can we write to make this message feel like it's hitting you the right way and hitting you in a hard way. And yeah, I feel like we did it. I feel like this song, just with the contrast between these kind of sultry acoustic guitar verses, and then they're followed up by these really epic choruses that hit really hard. It definitely kind of takes you on like a roller coaster in a way that I think was what we were trying to achieve. So
that is terrific. I love how you said that too about anger and grace and having all this going on, all these divisions and everything. And Jordan and Eric, feel free to chime in on the song Anger and Grace and your thoughts on it.
Yeah. Everything David said, obviously. And that's what's cool is we don't really like to release something if we don't all believe it. And I think what David said is just spot on. From a musical perspective, it was fun for me to be a part of recording like one of those like epic alternative anthems that you would want to hear live. Like you almost hope you're in a stadium when you hear it. It's that, like, that's how the choruses feel to me. And it was really fun to be a part of that process because that's hard to capture a lot. Especially when you're not in a live setting. It's really hard to capture that energy and the epicness. So it was really fun for me and for all of us, I think, to just witness elevating the music to match the message. That was a lot of fun for me. So I was just happy to be a part of it. It
sounded like a lot of fun for you. And Jordan, your thoughts on it. Go ahead and chime in.
Yeah, the fun song to play and record. I think David, well, from time to time, David comes out with guitar parts, and you did both of these, I think, just in GarageBand or something. And so it's fun to play something that he wrote, who's not primarily a guitar player, but, and I wouldn't necessarily think as a guitar player because I've been playing for so long, you're jaded, and you're like, oh, I don't want to do that. But then, so having like a different look on how to play a song on guitar is fun to play. So in that aspect, so all these guitar parts, for the most part, it's fun to play what David envisioned for the song to be and kind of make it come alive. It's definitely a fun song to play live. Also, it's a heavy hitter.
Okay, that sounds rather interesting. And what can we find all your music at, guys, especially Anger and Grace?
Yeah. Any streaming service that you can conjure up in your brain, where My Brothers and I, Spotify, Apple Music, YouTube, Tidal, Deezer, like all the ones. It's always hard to remember because I feel like there's more and more every day too. But yeah, all the streaming services, you can find us there, My Brothers and I.
We will certainly check those out. And we're with the Wiggler brothers, Eric and David, and I'm sure Scott's still trying to check in here and everything. Are you guys fighting over this? We'll have to resolve this later and join on the Mike Wagner Show. Guys, a very big thank you for your time. We got a few minutes, by the way. And what can we expect from you guys in 2022 and beyond? So, Jordan, why don't you go ahead and start for once?
2022. I can't believe it's already 2022, man. I think definitely new music. Definitely we're, I don't know if we mentioned this, but we're on our own. without a label or manager. So we're excited to be more nimble as far as what we want to release, when we want to release it, who we want to work with. It's great having a team, but also I think after the years we've learned from our mistakes, and we're excited to do things kind of more on our own. So yeah, excited.
That sounds great. And also, who do you consider biggest influences in your career? And it's not just music, but in general.
Oh man,
Eric, you can start this time.
I mean, I'm the sappy one, so I'll say something sappy. Is that okay? It's a middle child thing, I think. So for me, it's family. Like, it's people that aren't musicians. It's my mom that played clarinet probably for 2 years in high school, and she still has her clarinet. Like, there's things like that resonate with me, just for me to, take care of my instrument and realize that not a lot of people get to play music. Not a lot of people get the opportunity to go to school and learn music. So the opportunity that we have is inspiring to me, and being around the guys is inspiring to me, because not a lot of people can find 3 other guys in a band that they like to be with. That's not an easy thing to do. So just the position I'm in, I'm blessed to be in it. And, the people that inspire me the most are my parents, my grandparents, my brothers, Jordan. Yeah.
That's amazing. And also, Dave, who do you consider biggest influence in your career, and especially in general?
Yeah. Man, I would say, especially, I think it might sound like I'm piggybacking on the sappy nature of Eric's, but being the youngest, because I was watching these guys for the majority of my middle school and high school life, play instruments and do that stuff, and be in a band and perform live shows. Like, one of my favorite things to do as a kid was go to their live shows, just at wherever they were playing. And man, I'm gonna get choked up. I've never even said this before, but genuinely, I felt great pride, them being my older brothers. Sorry.
Don't worry about it. It's okay.
No.
It's okay.
We're allowed to cry because Scott's not here.
Yeah.
When Scott's here, he cracks the whip. No crying, baby.
But it was just it had a big impact on me. Seeing them pursue music, and to then be a part of it, and now all of us pursue it together. It's really special.
Wow, that is very special. You put it very well, David. And Jordan, how about you? Who do you consider biggest influence in your career, especially in general?
That's just in general. I think. Well, I was trying when these guys had such a specific on family. I totally agree with that. But then I guess I'm relating also to just a musician, and so I'll relate us to a band. And I was thinking of the Avery Brothers. I love the Avery Brothers. It's 2 brothers, and then other members of the band, but there's actually 2 brothers there, and they just seem to be such level-headed guys where it's not all about rock and roll and money and drugs, and it's their family comes first, and they're not going to sacrifice family and that for the music. It just kind of both comes at the same time. So yeah.
That's really interesting. And lastly, what's the best advice you guys can give anybody at this point?
YouTube has everything. If you're looking to learn how do I record a guitar, how do I set the gain level on my audio interface, anything, what's the best online course if I want to learn how to use Logic? Use YouTube. Don't make excuses for I need somebody to teach me, because all those people are on YouTube. It's not that the barrier of entry is so low. If you have an internet access or a smartphone, just go to YouTube and figure it out and have confidence in yourself.
I love that. I'm about to make that my number 1 advice from now on. Always YouTube it. Thank you. You're my inspiration.
That easy. It's that easy.
All right. Let's see. Jordan, David, what's the best advice any of you guys can give? Take turns. Be nice.
Yeah. No, I would say when Jordan was talking about the Avery Brothers, that reminded me of Alan Stone too. We got to play with Alan Stone, and he had a big impact on us. And I would say it's something that I saw in him that I would then tell people is just kindness. We were just we weren't even the opening act. We were the opener for his opener, but we got to piggyback on a couple shows. And he didn't need to talk to us. He didn't need to, you know, show us any sort of whatever. He was the big dog selling out these shows, but he still gave us the time of day. Like, he still talked to us before the show and took pictures with us. And we, like, that had a huge impact. So I would say, whether you're going into music or not, just having, like, everyone you meet, wherever you go, just be nice to people, like, be kind, because that has an impact. And I'll never forget those experiences with Alan Stone. And for him to do that for the lowly, my brothers and I, that was opening for his opener, that just was, it was huge. So I would say that that's a key for sure.
That's very key as well, too. I like that. And Jordan, best advice you can give to anybody.
I guess specifically relating to music and talking to a musician, I would say collaborate. So I get to collaborate with these guys and the brothers. And I would just say, you know, if you're a writer, try not to hold your songs too closely. I mean, because they are your babies, but also with collaboration, you know, the best things are done with other people, because you can kind of hone and figure it out together.
Mm-hmm. I think that's a very good point as well, too. You guys gave great advice as well. Once again, we're with Eric and David Wurgler, along with Jordan Roach of My Brothers and I here on the Mike Wagner Show. Guys, a very big thank you for your time. You've been absolutely fantastic. Looking forward to having you again soon. Make sure you keep us up to date. Keep in touch. Looking forward to having you on sometime next year. And before we go, tell us about your upcoming projects. What's your website? How do people contact you? Where can people purchase or check out your works?
Yes, I would say, first of all, thanks for having us, Mike. We really appreciate it. It's been great. We really, really appreciate it. And I would just say our website, brothers-turned-bandmates.com. And then that's probably like where you should go. Like that has the links right at the top of the page to our email if you want to reach out. We have a newsletter that you can sign up for if you're just wanting like updates from us about anything that's going on. And then we have links to our merch shop on there, which we have some new merch right now. And I think we even have some discounted prices for the holidays. So there's some sweet merch on there. Yeah. Is there another one? I think that was what you said, merch and store and email.
Okay. I think that pretty much covers it too. We'll make sure everybody does that. Shop for the holidays. Once again, guys, a very big thank you for your time. You've been totally amazing. Looking forward to having you again soon. Just keep us up to date, keep in touch, and we're looking forward to having you on sometime next year. You guys are totally amazing. We wish you all the best. You guys have a great future ahead of you.
Thanks so much.
Thank you, Mike.